different at all, it will not function. What's up, JR Buckle? Follow JR Buckle. Okay, so let's try this. I better not fucking do anything of difference whatsoever. Let's see, is it working? Okay, there. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. This is why I can't stand Microsoft or anything like this. And I'm just over it. Okay, so it's technically working now. God damn, man. I sat there this whole time trying to fix it, and right when I'm trying to hit the button, it just stops working. Okay, so let's get on the news. Phone call over the weekend. Do you know if that's real? I do not know if that's real. So let's get on to the news real quick. Sorry about that, but I had to sit there and deal with the internet and my computer and every other thing trying to destroy and sabotage me 100% of the time, which doesn't happen to 99% of other people, but it happens to me because the Matrix is gang stalking me. And it has been, and the Matrix does every single thing it has done. What's up, Chainsaw? To fuck with me. And so that's what it is, and I can't stand it. And I hate this planet. I hate it, and I don't want to live here anymore. This place is so full of demonically possessed shit. What's up, Jet? You cannot imagine. Right? You cannot imagine. And it's CIA, it's Israel, it's the whole fucking 9 yards. But, thank you, Silver King. This goes into the big story, and I'm just going to start this. And so we'll try our best. I really wish I had music in the background, but YouTube's a bitch. So, fury at Clay Higgins. As you know, Clay Higgins, the one Republican that did not vote to release the Epstein files, Republican representative is facing a backlash after he was the sole lawmaker, thank you my friends, not to vote for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files in the House vote of 427 to 1. So it was almost unanimous that they passed the bill to check on, to get the Epstein files. Clay Higgins of Louisiana was accused of defending pedophiles, even though if I recall... What's up, Keith? How you doing? Follow Keith, by the way. I'm here and on YouTube. So Clay Higgins of Louisiana was accused of defending pedophiles on X because he was the one that voted against the files. There were 5 no-shows. Yeah, he's a former cop, too. But the Republican argued that he was voting on the principle to ensure the sanctity of the criminal justice system, arguing that witnesses had been given protections which risked eroded if the files were published. What's up, Mississippi? I beg to differ, and I think that's a stupid way of looking at it. Thank you, I only. I have been participated no on this bill from the beginning, said Clay Higgins, that it abandons 250 years of criminal justice. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if the American people want it, you're going to fucking get it. Hell yeah, thank you, Nana. Thank you, Carolyn Crockett. So the one thing I don't understand here, there is no continuity of government with pedophiles running your government. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Bones and James. So I don't know what the deal is with this. Are you trying to keep the names out of the public so we won't kill them until they all die? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Are you trying to make it so that all these chomos that were in government and famous and all this other shit? What's up, Bill and Paula? I did. Thank you, Atlas and Paula. And so I'm just sitting here thinking, why are you so against... Thank you, Paula. Why are you so against trying to stop rich child molesters? I don't understand what this is. So thank you, Kelly. And I saw that interview in 2015 about Trump where they were saying that too. Thank you, Kelly. So I don't care what the continuity of a government is. I don't give a shit what they believe, what they say is right or wrong, procedural. If you're not going to arrest the rich pedophiles, then I think we need a revolution. Follow J.R. Buckle, by the way. If we are not going to arrest, thank you, Yuna, child molesting leaders and famous people, what's up, Excavator, then I don't want to be in this government. You see, you have to understand, I love America, but if you're not going to arrest child molesters that are in charge of stuff, I don't care how much money they have, I don't want to live in the United States, because in my opinion, the country is now descended into a clear and present danger. Maybe Russia was right. Maybe the United States in the West is led by child molesters. That's what Vladimir Putin said. Maybe that's what it is. What are we going to do? Softball this? Oh, he's the head of this bank. Let bygones be bygones. No, I want to fucking see him swinging is what I want to see. And not the upside down pineapple people. I'm talking rope and gallows. Hell yeah. Geez, nuts! They used to hang you for horse fucking theft back in the day. They would hang people for cattle rustling. Those are strong. And now what we're saying is we don't want to do this. I don't give a fuck what your position of power is. I don't give a fuck how long you've been in charge of this, that, or the other. Thank you, Lisa. I don't give a fuck if you are the head of a company, on the committee of this, that, and the other, if you're this or that, if you were worth $1 million, billion, $trillion, I don't give a fuck. Tell you out, there is no protection, and I don't understand why people think, well, what'll happen if we arrest this chomo that's in charge of this big company? His subordinate will take over, and he'll get bubbaed in fucking jail. Pardon the pun, with the Epstein files. You know what I'm saying? And you're lucky. So here's my what do you want to call this? My charge to you. If these people that are named in the files at some point are not thrown in jail, are not what do you want to call it? Summary executed, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be really disappointed if you're not in the streets this time. You were able to go out there for Black Lives Matter and burn buildings down, and all they did was fucking, the one guy killed a guy that was black. God only knows how many fuck faces these assholes have killed or fucking molested. And if you're not in the streets, I'm going to be very disappointed of all of you. Because if I see some famous banker or financier or whatever, and it's like he gets to walk free and drive in his brand new Escalade and shit, thank you, Kat. I don't know what I can tell you. I don't want this country, I don't want people to go to work. Thank you, PDQ. I want to have a general strike, a general shutdown. Where would you move to? What do you think, honey? Frankly speaking, haven't really thought that far through. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd be in the streets with you. I'm not one for protesting. But in this particular case, I'll go to lock up chomos. What do I propose? Anybody that's in the names on the list that's and says that they diddled a kid, you have two choices. You can either be Summerly. God damn it. You know what I'm saying. Thank you, my friend. Summary execution. Summarily. What's the word? Summarily executed? Is that the word? Summarily executed? Is that the word? Or you can go to jail. Summarily dispatched. That'll work too. Sorry, I can say it. I just didn't know summarily was a word for that. And I went to grad school. Jesus Christ. Shows you what they taught me. Taught you to run a business, not speaking good grammar, huh? As you can plainly tell, my grammar sucks. So, either way, the way I'm looking at it is I either want protests or I want these fuckfaces behind jail. Yeah, they're only going to sacrifice certain people. We know it's going to be a lot worse. So, I don't really know what to say about it. They're voting on it. It almost unanimously passed. I don't really know how to fix this. If it's going to be with the Epstein files, I would say that there's going to be justice. Justice is not assured, by the way. Thank you, Brittany and Mara. But in this particular case, we might get fucking lucky. Thank you, Brittany and Dream. Yeah, there are some girls that want their privacy. Thank you, Donnie. Now, the bigger question is how many powerful people, rich men, company heads, politicians, celebrities, how many of them were molesting children? That's what we're looking at here. Not really gonna, the Clintons, yeah, not really gonna mince words here, right? Gino. Not gonna mince words here. Which people did this? That's what I'm asking. Because we've heard the fucking bullshit that was on Q that they put on fucking X that was a list that's not actually verified. Because if you go on X, you'll see a list of molesters that are supposed to be celebrities, but those lists are fake. They come from fucking 4chan. So those lists that were put together are fake on X, at least for the most part. However, there was coincidentally some names that showed up on this last Democrat attempt to smear Trump with what they put out there. Notice, by the way, thank you, Donnie. Notice, by the way, the Democrats put a bunch of emails out there that had Trump's name, but they did not release the names of anybody else, except, I believe, Ehud Barak was on one, and Peter Thiel, if I'm correct. Thank you, Kelly. They picked very selectively what to show out there. Yeah, Larry Summers, yeah, and which, of course, if you ever see Larry Summers, you know why he was paying for women. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, that's the guy that was asking Jeffrey Epstein, I like this girl, but she's not interested. Basically, how do I manipulate her into fucking me? Is when he's like, oh, this is what you do. And you act strong, and women just fall for it. I'm like, are people that fucking transparent? What's up, Lisa? So, that's just my thoughts on it. Sorry, my smoke machine. Fog machine. I'm sorry, fog machine. Don't forget to share and heart and gift and all that other crap. So, Democrats see the bill being passed as a victory, even though they might be dragged into the scandal. The House of Representatives passed a bill Tuesday instructing the Department of Justice to release additional files from the investigation into financier and convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Fuckstein. Passage of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, although unlikely to result in any additional criminals being brought to justice, is a political victory for Democrats. Why would it not result in additional criminals being brought to justice? See, this is what I don't understand. This is from the Breitbart. This is from Breitbart, which is a right-leaning rag, that basically says the Epstein files are going to be released, but it's unlikely to result in any additional criminals being brought to justice. Now, why would that be? Why would there not, take all the news channels tomorrow, yes, why would they not ever say that there's going to be justice? When you release the names of a bunch of child molesters, why would there not be justice? Is it because they're rich? If a poor person's a child molester, they're going to go to jail for 50 fucking years. But you're telling me you're going to fucking soft kid gloves this? Pardon the pun. Know what I'm saying? That doesn't work out. And so it already looks to me that they're saying that we're going to try to treat the rich with respect when it comes to diddling children. And then that'll be a catalyst. Yeah, see, statute of limitations shouldn't come in here. And then, of course, that'll be a catalyst to try to normalize minor attracted persons. Well, as you can see with the Epstein files, it was widespread. So maybe we were thinking too harsh because of all these rich people, because they only give a fuck about rich people. They'll only change the law for the rich and elite. If they get attacked personally, they'll change the law. If they don't, then nobody gives a fuck about us. So more than likely, this will result once the Democrats take over as minor attracted persons, or molesters as we call them, will be more than likely fucking protected after the next cycle of politicians come and go. Which is an unfortunate thing because we already knew that that was the overall goal with this fucking trying to normalize weird sexuality in middle and grade school, which I think is a fucking sick thing. Thank you, Paula. But that's basically what we're doing here, which is also unfortunate. Oh, my God. I got to tell you, YouTube Vertical works. The other YouTube one doesn't.
I can't even thumbs up it.
You can't thumbs up it? Why?
If I double click on it, it pauses and plays.
What the fuck?
I also can't gift. You only have the option to like give them money or do membership. There's no gifts on there.
They're talking about so the gift thing is only on up and down. You gotta love YouTube, Jesus Christ. Timer 30 minutes. Thing is about YouTube is they tried so fucking hard and it just didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what whatever YouTube's doing, it ain't it. I'm telling you, you can't be showing yourself. You have to be doing nothing but vertical. And you have to be doing nothing but showing stuff. You can't show a face, anything. No, I'm not going to end it. Fuck that shit. Yeah, because I need the watch time. I like it. So anyway, as recently as Tuesday, new revelations showed the extent of Democrats' disregard for Epstein's crimes when it benefited them politically. Thank you, Paula. Oh, thank you, Paula. You're awesome. Representative James Conner of Kentucky, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, revealed Tuesday that the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries solicited meetings and campaign donations from Epstein. That's according to a representative from Kentucky, after his convictions for sex crimes. So, I heard that also, that Hakeem Jeffries was getting deep into that. Apparently, now this is not according to me. What's this? Live violation warning for what now? Your live is flagged for misinformation. No, it's because the same person keeps coming in here and fucking with me. Go away, Dusty. You have a little dick. You dickless fucking bitch. Or unless you want to come on here and debate me and be an actual man instead of a fucking wiener like you. Okay, so this one guy on here has been stalking me for weeks, and this piece of shit comes from one of Millie's stands that's in love with her apparently. So because of that, I cleared my live last night because of what's that mean? So I know you're too much of a bitch to come up here and debate me. I already know that. Because your dick is as big as this fucking pinky right here. But I implore you, I cleaned house. Yeah, that's the thing. You basically have to just get rid of them. You just have to get rid of them. Yeah, so that's what it is. And so this is why I don't want to be on TikTok, because these people are fucking pieces of shit. And they're psychos. And you see, it's conservatives attacking me now. So Dusty is a conservative. But he doesn't like that I'm not jacking Donald Trump off 24 hours a day. Well, I've already filed a lawsuit against Millie Shushies for harassing and stalking me with her people, because she sent a great deal of people against me. So I've already got a protective order going against her. She doesn't know it yet, though. So this is what happens when you send 50 people at me, is I do protective orders on you, and that's what I'm doing. Wasn't hard either. So we'll be enjoying that. So good job. Yeah, all you had to do was just stay the fuck away from me like I told you. And you couldn't do that. So now you're going to get a protective order. So fantastic. Suck my fucking asshole. Anyway, I'm reading this directly off the news. So if you want me, I should just start showing the news on here. I should just start showing the news, because You people out there, some of you are too fucking weak to understand what this is. So, hold on a second. Not you guys. You can co-host with other creators? Well, I already know that. So, according to TikTok, and I'm reading it right now, my live stream is restricted because some audiences may find it uncomfortable. Reason, misinformation. So talking about child molesters that are elitists. So man, TikTok, you are really protecting the elite, aren't you? Are they Jewish? Is that what it is? Is that why you're doing it? I'd like to know exactly. Because you seem like you have something wrong with you lately. Is that what it is? Is it because der Juden? Is that what it is? Thank you, Adrian. And so I already know what it is. And I thank you, Sid. And I know you're trying to protect elitists. I already know what you're trying to do. And let me just put it to you this way. Protecting child molesters isn't a good look for you. That's the closest I think you do, and Jimmy. I don't know what to tell you. Stop doing that. I don't think they'll get released tonight. But yes, this guy's been stalking me for 2 weeks. Thank you, Chainsaw. So I do have a protective order coming on you. So I want you to know that. You can enjoy that. And if you come within 300 feet or you make any fucking noise against me, you're going to go to jail. That's what we're doing there. Yeah, I'm not fucking around anymore. I'm done with these pieces of shit. Right? I don't like certain conservatives because you're not conservatives. You're being paid by Israel. Fuck you. No, it's still nothing. They're supposedly owned by Oracle. So there's certain creators on TikTok here that are being paid by Israel. And that are being propped up because they drum up a lot of, what do you want to call it, fighting back and forth. So, yes, that's who I'm talking. That's exactly right. So there's several creators on here being paid by Israel, and it's not actual their belief system. It's paid propaganda. Now, I'm aware Harry Sisson and all them have been doing that for years with Midas Touch. That's always been what I've been told, and that's what I've seen. And then you have conservatives on here because TikTok doesn't pay anybody. So, a lot of people on TikTok are being paid by either propaganda arm pieces or Israel with Project Esther, but they're not allowed to say that they're doing it. And so what happens is they'll come on here and you'll see somebody that's a conservative that you've known for a long time, and then all of a sudden they'll have a completely different fucking, just all of a sudden, completely, oh no, I don't hate Israel. I hate people that get paid for propaganda. Thank you, Tony and Dewey. You see, if you get paid for your message, like if you get gifted or if you have a sponsor, you try to sell something, right? So like if you say, well, I'm getting paid by Walmart or whatever to sell pants, that's different. If you are being paid by a country to spout their propaganda, so like, you see exactly what we said, well, you sound like it. I support Israel against October 6th. I fucking hate Hamas. I've been saying this the whole time. It was October 7th, I'm sorry. However, thank you. However, I'm also not stupid, and I know American creators are being paid to spout the propaganda of Israel and other countries. This I cannot fucking have any part of. Because it's disingenuous voice, right? So one thing, like for one thing I know about Candace Owens, even though I don't care for her, I know she's not being paid by Israel. I know that for a fact. What's wrong with Israel trying to get positive coverage? Because it's the sinister, hidden way it's done. Because they're making it look like it's somebody's actual position. They don't need people that are fucking famous to change a position for money. You have people. I've been pro-Israel, and this is another thing. Why do I have to explain this to you? I was pro-Israel when Hamas was murdering and raping people, and now that I don't like Israel putting propaganda, I can think more than one way. Only a stupid person has to have it all or nothing. You understand that, right? Like, you can support Israel not having people murder them, and also say, hey, I think paying for propaganda is stupid. You don't have to jerk it all one way or another, right? You can pick and choose. It's only stupid people are 100% one way or another. That's the measure of a stupid person. Why people are against Israel and with Israel? Because they're okay with Jewish people. They just hate the government. It's the same here. It would be like saying, I love Iran and I hate Iran. What do you mean by that? It's like liking Trump and calling him out when he does something bad. I can like Trump and say, I think it's fucking weird you didn't want to show the Epstein files. Now I don't because you said it's okay and we're going to do this. You understand? But I can say, I like Trump's economic and social policies. Wonderful. However, the way you're handling the Epstein files, the student loan shit, this, that, or the other is dumb and you need to check yourself and let's get back in the game. Right? So I'm trying to get people to think critically and everybody is so fucking, no, I don't need rest. Your mom was over here. She wore me out. So you don't have to sit there and think only one way or another. You're a dumb fuck or an automaton if you do that. So if you can't think for yourself, right? That might be true, Manny. If you think for yourself, you will not. I think I actually did. Not bad. Huh? I think I identified the issue, that fucking piece of shit. So if you, thank you, Airboat. So if you think for yourself, like nobody out there likes 100% of what any politician says. And if you do, you're a brainless wonder. Yeah, thank you, my friend. So like if you believe, so like Trump, right? Do I believe that Trump was going to send us to the golden age? No. Did I believe Trump would have prices lowered through lower fuel prices and other means? Yes. Am I disappointed? Yes, because he gave all of our shit to the rich. And now he wants to talk about fucking affordability, even though that should have been done on day 1, not fucking day 312. Right? So, like, I can be a Christian and still think Islamic people are okay. I just think your religion is stupid. You see what I'm saying? So I like Islamic people. I just think your religion is dumb. So it's not you personally. I just don't subscribe to your fucked up belief system. I would subscribe to Buddhism more. But I'm a Christian, so I don't believe Buddha was God. And I don't think there's 8 realms with a realm of hungry ghosts. I don't think that's real. Yeah, I would love to have some Argentinian ribeye. You damn right, penis pump. But nevertheless, you have to understand that I would still support some of Trump's policies. What about Kamala Harris? Did I look at her? Sorry, this is very strong. Yes, Kamala Harris didn't have the policy that I thought was good for America. I thought Bernie Sanders was better than Kamala Harris. Bernie Sanders had more freedom, whereas Kamala Harris was more of a totalitarian, in my opinion. So whereas I saw Bernie Sanders helping veterans and not giving a fuck what you say online, Kamala Harris would restrict money from the military and veterans, give it to the prisons and internationals and elitists, and then, of course, restrict what you say online. So Kamala Harris was not good for me. Right? Well, why is that? Because she wants to restrict free speech. She wants to get this to happen, raise your taxes, blah, blah, blah. Well, so you're saying that Trump was the lesser of two evils. Yeah, exactly. Trump was the lesser of two evils. So anybody on here that believe, well, you have to vote for Trump or Republican, otherwise it's a vote for Democrats. No, that's such a stupid argument. Yes, no private prisons, exactly. But that's such a stupid argument that it has to be the right or the left. There's an up and a down, too. I mean, what are we... You're only looking at it halfway. And I'm not going to get into lectures here because my wife will hate it. She hates that shit. But I like talking about it every now and again. But you got to understand that every choice is an authoritarian choice. And I don't understand why anybody can't understand. Nobody can figure it out. I've been saying it for 2 or 3 years on here. Some people figure it out. They hear it, no problem. They get what I'm saying. Trump is more towards the authoritarian side. Kamala Harris was more authoritarian than Trump. What's not there to figure out? You know what I'm saying? Like, really? Yeah, it would have applied. How did the Mamdani? Yeah. Mamdani's also a totalitarian. Most of your politicians in America lean towards an authoritarian system of government. I've never lived and had a politician in the United States that ran the country who was not of an authoritarian. Thank you, Tyrone. Reagan was an authoritarian. Thank you, TMR. Fucking Bush was an authoritarian. Clinton was an authoritarian. Obama, or Bush 2, was definitely an authoritarian. Obama was an authoritarian. Trump was an authoritarian, but slightly less. Biden was a big-time authoritarian, and Trump is a little more of an authoritarian. Kamala was an authoritarian. Yeah, Reagan was an authoritarian, too. He was just a fiscal conservative. You can be a conservative and authoritarian. You can be a liberal and an authoritarian. Stalin is a left-wing authoritarian. Hitler is a center-left authoritarian. Fucking fascism is right-wing authoritarianism. So is a monarchy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are just what they are. You say, well, Hitler was a fascist. No, those are actually two different governments. Hitler was a National Socialist. Fascism's a different government. It's more right-wing than Hitler. Fascism's more conservative than Hitler. Yeah, Obama was pretty bad, but he was an authoritarian out the ass. We haven't really had a non-authoritarian president since fucking Andrew Jackson. Really? If you think about it. Even, what's his face? Abraham Lincoln leaned authoritarian when he sent soldiers in to shoot people in New York City to stop the draft riots. Right? I mean, so all of your politicians in America are authoritarian. And when you start saying anything about libertarian because of the Libertarian Party that's actually not libertarian, they fucked it up. So we need a new political party. The only people in America that you have that are not almost all the same, Democrat or Republican, you have Bernie Sanders. There's one other independent. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. And then you have a couple of governors and low level. You have like Noam Chomsky. They're not politicians. You don't really have much. Ross Perot was on the bottom. It was center left or center libertarian. So you have to understand, you need to look into the different styles of governments that libertarianism offers. And it has nothing to do, like, libertarian doesn't mean Libertarian Party. Libertarian, we need a new name for it. You need, like, authoritarian and freeditarian. You need to change it up. What's up, Gregory? Because libertarians are just one part of that. With some nostalgic views, how you doing? So, you can be a left-wing libertarian, thank you Hardly, or you can be a right-wing libertarian. You can be a left-wing authoritarian, or you can be a right-wing authoritarian. So here in the United States, most of our politicians are center to right authoritarian. Now, there's been a push in America for left-wing authoritarianism. And you say, well, wait a minute. Liberals are all about personal freedom and Republicans aren't. Oh, is that so? Is that so? Thank you, Gregory. Well, if that's the case, why do Democrats and Republicans still throw people in jail and agree on making weed illegal? Anybody want to tell me that? Because Democrats and Republicans vote close to the same on that aspect. Not really giving you a right there, are they? Kind of taking your privileges away from you, regardless of what it is. Hell yeah, Chainsaw. Thank you, Jet. A libertarian would legalize that for you, or at least decriminalize it for you. Yeah, Eli Lilly fucks it up here in Indiana. You're hit, baby. So you say, well, I want it legal. Well, you're not going to get it legal, and you're not even going to get it decriminalized or rescheduled. Defendant 6, they were trying to take over. I need to get on to that. And you say, well, I want it legalized. Well, you're not going to. You don't have libertarians or anybody who's even close. And a socialist is just a left-wing authoritarian. So everything from Che Guevaraism to Trotskyism, Stalinism, Leninism, Shiism, socialism. Thank you, Chainsaw. It's all kind of in the same area. What's up, Dirk? So you need to get rid of the left-wing authoritarianism, but we're not doing that, which is unfortunate because everybody is the same. Be quiet, dude. I don't know. I got to get your mom out of my mouth real quick. Yeah. So when you look at,
actually, he said, "Be quit, dude."
Oh, be quit. I'll be quit. Don't be quit. Look at this guy's a moron. Yeah, I know. What a fucking asshole. Do you believe that guy? Am I MAGA? I am a right where I'm what you call a fiscally conservative libertarian with a socially libertarian, socially liberal. What's up, Dark? So I'm a mix of about 4 types of government. So I am not whatever. Thank you, Jen. I'm nothing. I can see the good in most governments except for communism, socialism in most cases, and I see very little good in monarchies or despotism or anything that has to do with that. So basically the way I am, I don't have a left or a right wing. My compass does not work with that. That's all economic and that's all dependent on what the market justifies. I'm either authoritarian or libertarian. So I don't do, like the left and right wing, that's all up for grabs. Like you can mix that. Thank you, honey. So I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Well, you have to be a left wing. No, you don't. You can mix social liberalism financially and conservative fiscal policy. You just have to do it a certain way. That's you have to add so if you're right wing, or I'm sorry, if you're left wing or communism, and you choose that bullshit, you can even that out with mercantilism. If you're right wing, you can even it out with I believe they call it a Dove trade lobby. Let me look into that though, because I want to make sure on that. Yeah, that's another one. Dove lobby. Un momento. It's a Dove economy, specific type of economy that prioritizes lower interest rates and higher employment over controlling inflation. So that's called a Dove policy. And why do you do that? Because the nature of conservatism is what's called a hawk lobby or a hawk policy. And if you're going to be conservative, you have to iron out with more of a centrist economic policy. And if you're going to go left-wing, you have to iron it out with more of a conservative or right-wing economic policy, which is called mercantilism. So people don't do that because they make a lot of money if they only go one way, and it takes from one to give to the other, and the American people still don't get any of it. And I'll just put it to you this way. You just had Joe Biden, right? Right. This is how easy it is to see. So you have Joe Biden, right? And everything is double in price under Joe Biden. correct? Houses, cars, insurance, heat, food, all double under Joe Biden, correct? Well, great. And a bunch of people that were left-leaning and liberal, blah, 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 they got all billions of dollars under Joe Biden. Auto pen time, everything's great. Got to play with the hairy legs. Yeah, hey, fucking psycho, right? So then we have Trump, and just the mirror of those people in wealth are gaining money. And if you don't believe me, well, it's 300 and however many days in. Thank you, Nick and Mabel Cat. And have any of you gained financially since Joe Biden or Donald Trump has been in office? No, you haven't. Thank you, Nick. None of you have gained since Joe Biden took office. None of you. You're all still paying a lot. You're paying double. Prices for food. What is that? The prices for food are double still. Cars are double still, or 40% more, whether it's new or used. Houses are still 30, 40, 50% more. You say, well, hold on a second. I voted for Trump. Prices would come down. That's not how this works up in authoritarianism. That's not what this does here. Right? You have to even it out. Like if you say, well, we're Trump, so now we're right fiscal policy and we're right social policy. You're not going to make any money off of that as a poor or middle class person. You're not going to make any money off that. I'll be here, my friend. And the reason you're not going to make any money off of that is because the policy is too far right. What's up, Never Woke? Follow Never Woke as well. Thank you, my friend. And this is why you iron it out. So Donald Trump would do a lot better with his policies socially and a Dove policy economically, because that would iron out a lot of the bullshit and the volatility. Now, you're not seeing volatility. What you're seeing now is investments coming from everywhere on earth coming into the United States, but the wealthy are the only ones gaining off of that. And how do I figure that? Well, because prices aren't coming down. So it's been 4 years, and this is why Trump got dealt a bad hand initially. So figure this. You have 4 years of Joe Biden fucking you financially, giving you back shots financially. Every day it costs more. Gas up where I live was $5.25 a gallon under Joe Biden. So it went down to $3 a gallon. That happened before Trump came in. Gas has not gone down a single penny at all since Trump's been in office. It's gone up and down, stayed the same. Okay, well, what happened to Trump's policies? Well, his economic policies are not aligned to the market at this time. Well, why is that? Well, because he's using tariffs as a financial weapon against other countries to gain basically better trade deals in the long term. Well, hold on a second. It's not really working. You're correct. It's actually not really working. The reason it's not working is not because of Donald Trump. It's because of the speed at which the world in which this works. Think about you're trying to turn a battleship on a dime rather than trying to turn a Yugo on a dime. Okay? So, the way Joe Biden's and Obama's and after Rona with the short Trump term and all this, had a left-leaning economic policy that was a juggernaut made under Obama, was tried to reverse under Trump. It was cut short because of the Rona. Biden came in, thank you, Sweet and Andy, fucked up the economy, which in the liberal mind is not fucking up the economy. That's exactly what they wanted, because those high prices give government control over the population to bring in their policies. What's up, B. Vance? To bring in their policies of universal basic income and redistribution of wealth. That's why you're seeing the socialists come up now. Because they're going to go with the plan one way or another. Trump is just a fly in the ointment, a monkey in the wrench. That's all he is. So when you look at this and you say, okay, Trump is trying to turn an Obama-Biden, soft Kamala-pushing, left-leaning that's trying to sabotage the system at every behest, trying to block him at everything he does with federal judges, while Trump's trying to turn an economy Well, I'm aware of that, but it didn't create all that. Don't give me that PPP loan bullshit. That fucking shit is gone and over with. That barely figures into it. What you want to talk about is bailouts that were... You want to know where this all started before you get your dick in a twist? This all started under George W. Bush is where this started. It started under George W. Bush with quantitative easing. Unbeknownst to a lot of you, they were still doing bailouts, quantitative easing. Even up during Trump's term, they picked it up with Rona, and they did it under goddamn Joe Biden. And in some cases, they're still doing it. Oh, they're not doing it. Yeah, okay. So you're telling me that the banks that were failing regionally didn't get $60 billion of T-bill liquidity from the Federal Reserve to make sure they didn't go bankrupt. Of course they're still doing it. And Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is a fucking big-time fucking lover of Abenomics, which goes into quantitative easing even to this day. It's fucked. So then you say, well, no, Trump can't do it with it. Nobody can do it. You have to let the economy fail and re-fucking form it all without the Federal Reserve. But nobody wants to be known as the president that purposely dropped the economy. That's all it is. Nobody wants to say, I'm going to be the president that's considered the worst economic president since fucking Jimmy Carter. You say, well, how do you mean? Well, if you get rid of the Federal Reserve and you reform your economy on our commodities, you will have the worst economic collapse in American history. And nobody wants to do that because they're all pussies. Thank you, applesauce, and this. And Trump was never going to do it. None of them are, because they can't stand to put America in depression on purpose for 2 years so that the next generations will have a better economy for the next 1,000 years if we wanted it. And that's the truth, because the Federal Reserve System cannot function. The Federal Reserve System is a private bank that's based on interest and inflation only. The very notion of a Federal Reserve existing in the first place behests the fact of inflation existing, because they create a currency that we have to pay for. Thank you, Two Coors. And nobody on earth... What's up, Remnant? Follow Remnant. He's also awesome. Nobody on earth is going to produce a free service with... No, you're okay, Eli. That's just how do I put this? The Democrats and the Republicans use that as a tool to not give money to the poor. Thank you, the Remnant, because they keep saying, and it's the same with the Trump stimulus. They're like, oh, that just destroyed America. And it's like, it's 6 years on, and we're still about this. And the politicians are like, oh, yeah, that was the catalyst. I'm like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. You bailing out the corporations was the catalyst for this. Anyway, but I digress. What's up, Lady Chi? So the way you need to do this is a president out there needs to grow a dick and say, I'm going to tank the economy on purpose. Why? Because we're removing the Federal Reserve and we're creating a state bank. A central fucking bank. And the reason they say that you shouldn't do a central bank is they say, well, the central banking system will outspend and they'll just create inflation in themselves. Yes, stupid ones do. Right? Yeah, we still do. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck we're doing, Remnant. And it's like, and they use the same examples. Venezuela, Zimbabwe. Great. Venezuela went socialist, so it's never going to work under that system with a central bank. You can't have a socialist government with a central bank and function. In Zimbabwe, that guy was Robert Mugabe. Him and his wife stole everything and blew it buying diamonds and furs in Europe while their people were starving. So they chose a Nicolae Ceausescu route. I'm surprised they didn't get all shot. Nevertheless, those are bad examples, and that's what the politicians do. So you need to get rid of the Federal Reserve, take the 1.5 to 2 year depression that you're going to get out of it while you reform the economy on a commodities-based system. You say, well, what commodities? Gold? No, all of them. All of them. Thank you, Nana. You're like, what? What do you mean all of them? We're just going to use the gold and silver standard. No, that's not enough. Thank you, my friends. The gold standard, there's not enough gold to take care of America's economic system right now. We're bringing in, what, $4.5 trillion of taxes in a year? There's no way our economic system, thank you, Andrea and Nana, can function on just the gold, silver, and platinum. You have to make everything to bring up with that, and you have to have varying levels. Thank you, Chainsaw, and Gen X. So if you're going to say, I'm going to put $120 billion of gold to back this economy, well, I'm going to need $120 billion of aluminum to back that too. That's a significant amount of aluminum. And the same with oil, and the same with diamonds and precious metals, because you're going to have to break up the economy on sliding scale and amounts of reserves for your market, because you're going to have a market-based economy now, not this bullshit, which is an inflationary-based economy. And so when you're looking at our Federal Reserve System, what is our economy based on? It's based on the ability to generate wealth and pay debt. So it doesn't matter if you produce in America, or all it is I can sell the debt and pay it off at a lower or higher fractional rate. And so this being the case, all I have to do is say, well, our economy is starting to tank. Well, I'll just sell more debt to somebody, and then when they quorum call with it, I'll reduce it and manipulate it so we're fucking staying afloat. Well, what about the deficit? Well, that's the value of your dollar right there. The higher the deficit, the lower the value of the dollar. So that's why Trump keeps saying to pay it off. But there's no way to pay off the value of the deficit to bring the value of the dollar higher, because you have a constant inflationary rate and interest that you're paying with the Federal Reserve. So right now you have a built-in inflation currently at 3%. That's unsustainable because your GDP doesn't match inflation. So then you have an interest that you're paying of $1.2 trillion a year to the Federal Reserve. So what the fuck are we doing? So you're cutting your dick off 25% to give to the Federal Reserve. Then you have built-in inflation, so you're being fucked coming and going, literally. You see, this is inflation, this is deficit, it's getting worse exponentially. So you got to stop that. And you say, well, how do you stop that? Well, you can pay off the debt completely, in which case you'll simply just restart, because you'll be doing the same thing with the Federal Reserve. So if you pay off the entire debt, you'll kick the can down the road for 5 more decades. You'll be right where you were. Oh, good God. Yeah. So that's not what you want to do. But if you have a commodities-based economic system, 38 trillion. Yeah, it's insane. Thank you, West Texas. So what you have to do is you have to simply do this. You say, Federal Reserve, thank you. It was nice knowing you. We're getting rid of our partnership with you. And the Federal Reserve says we can't do that. And we'll say we can do whatever the fuck we want. It says in the Constitution that we can either do it ourselves, thank you, Yuda, or we can do it through a third party. We chose a third party. It doesn't work. We can break ties with the Federal Reserve. You can bitch, moan, and complain all you want. I don't even think it takes an act of Congress. You can just say, we're not doing this anymore. Fuck you. Thank you, Nana. And they say, well, why is it? Because it's a private entity. It's a private entity. We can change or do it ourselves. We could have the Federal Reserve. We could have the central bank be tied in with the U.S. Mint, and then have it with the commodities market. And then based on what we produce, buy, sell, and trade is what our economy does. So if we do good and we trade with the world and we continue the way we are now, after the depression of changing currencies ends, after about 1.5 to 2 years, you'll then have it where your market fuels your currency value. See how that works? Yes, it would. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Thank you. So you took the words right out of my mouth. So what happens is this, and this is why you go into a depression. So if you're on the Federal Reserve System, you're in a relatively flat plane, even though it's against American poor and middle class at every chance. So as soon as you get rid of the Federal Reserve, you have to transition to a treasury, your own national bank. And so not only do you have to set up an infrastructure and rule system, but you also have to end the Federal Reserve and pick up a national reserve, a national currency. Thank you, Nana. So the Treasury notes, the fucking Federal Reserve notes, all go away. They're all worthless. But you have to do it in a way when it's not just worthless. It's what's called a taper off of value. So the Federal Reserve note starts here. We're at like 90% less value than in 60 years ago. And that Federal Reserve value starts to drop as you start to bring in new economic systems and the market starts trading on this system. Once that starts building, you start producing your own currency. Now, the production of currency makes inflation. That's just what it is. And so you're not going to get rid of any inflation. But with a currency system that's made out of nowhere from a central bank, you can control inflation and you can basically pay it down and get rid of inflation as you would with debt. And you have to write off the deficit. The $38 trillion or whatever, you have to write off that. Because you're not paying that Federal Reserve. No, fuck that. Yeah, Brazil, people have done it all the time. And what happens is you always go through an economic hardship. What's up, Frankfurt? How you doing? Thank you, Texas. So every country that switches currencies or banking systems goes through an economic hardship. So what would happen is your stock market initially would drop about 35%. You would go into an immediate depression as soon as you did this. Because the Federal Reserve, it would be pulling out and your fiat currency is garbage now. So you're effectively on purpose turning your currency into Venezuelan toilet paper money in order to change it out for commodities-backed currency. And so what you have to do is you say, well, however much commodities we have, yes, that's true also, and people don't want to find that out. But so you say, okay, well, let's say we have $90 billion in cash that's floating into the United States currently. You have to get rid of $90 billion of Federal Reserve notes and replace it with $90 billion of new Treasury notes so that the economy will equalize. Otherwise, you're going to be in a fucking shit show. So you have to, no matter what, and I don't know what the rule on this. I've heard 10%. So if you need $90 trillion or $90 billion of money in our system, you would have to have a $900 billion economic backing of commodities right away. Now, it's going to take from 0.0 to that amount, about $1 trillion, that you can add the equivalent amount of a currency back to our economy. You see what I'm saying? And you say, well, wait a minute, well, why is that? Because you don't want to just have it on gold anymore, because then it's not tapped into the market. And right now, China and a lot of other countries own most of the gold. And so you have to expand it. You have to expand it onto something that you only possess that's also a rarity as well. So you have to find out in America, what do we have here that's a rarity? Because rare is what value system is. There's two ways something is worth money. It's either because of its rarity or it's because of its popularity. Currency, Federal Reserve is popularity. The whole world, we're looking for rarity, because the less money you have in your system, the more that dollar is worth. However, you have 330 million people, and so you have to keep them adequately supplied with currency. However, if you put it on a commodities-backed system, your money automatically increases in value because you've written off the debt. And the side effect of getting rid of the debt, thank you, Ted, look it up. The side effect of getting rid of debt, thank you, Nostalgia, is increase of value of the dollar. That's just what it is. Thank you, Ted. So a lot of people say, well, why do we want to pay down the deficit? Paying down the deficit increases the value of the dollar and potentially lowers interest rates. The problem is with a Federal Reserve system, you'll never get out of it. Thank you, Aaron, you'll lower the fucking deficit to just raise it, to lower it, to debt, raise it, to blah, 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 blah. We don't want to keep jerking this system off. This is horse shit. right? And right now, by the year 2040 or 2050, they're looking at 150 to 225% GDP that you need for this system. It's a broken system. It'll never work. So you got to get off of it before we chiggity check ourselves, before we riggedy wreck ourselves, is basically what I'm getting at. I'm all right. How you doing, Callista? But the problem is that our government will never do that because we are up the horse's ass of the stock market and fueled by the Federal Reserve notes, which are just a washed toilet paper horse shit. It doesn't mean anything. It's like that cartoon. It's like the story where it's a Scrooge McDuck episode where they go into a place where money has never existed. And somebody says, well, no, I don't know how you survive with no money. And they're like, oh, it's great. So they make bottle caps money, right? And then people start hoarding bottle caps so they have more. Yes, I am employed. And then they start, some people hoards bottle caps. They start stealing and committing crimes for it. Then they start getting greed and wealthy because it was never, money didn't create greed. Was it greed that created money? Yeah, it was. You know what I'm talking about, Dustin? So it was money that, was it money that created greed, or was it greed that created money? Thank you, Aaron and Angel, and my friend. And so that's what it is. And so the greed was always there. Yeah, I'm bottle cap rich too. And so if you introduce the money, then greed will show itself. And so when people don't use money, are they still greedy? Yes, of course they are. They just do it in different ways. So you know what I'm saying. And so then other people will say, well, no, the money is what produced greed. Well, no, money's just a tool. People are always dickheads. Enter the Federal Reserve. Constipated? Yeah, I'm not. I will tell you that. If you look at the economic policy of the Dove policy, and so I'll get into the news here in just a second. The Dove, because I'm waiting for Epstein news. The Dove policy refers to a specific type of economic policy that prioritizes lower interest rates and higher employment. That's what we want, right? Over controlling inflation. So we want low interest rates and high unemployment. Or it can refer to the policy and personal care brand Dove. That's not what it is. An economic policy that favors lower interest rates to stimulate the economic growth and reduce unemployment. I have not. It's characterized as dovish stance. It's considered expansionary, as it aims to boost the economy through measures like lower interest to make borrowing cheaper. Now, I've heard that small businesses are facing 7 to 10% loans when it comes to getting business loans. So that being the case, I believe a Dove lobby or a Dove policy economically would be better in this case to lower interest rates on small business loans. That's another reason I like that because that prioritizes maximum employment and keep which does allow inflation to go wild. But if you put it into a commodities-based economic system, you can do this. What happened? She says she's crying. What'd I do? The opposition policy is what's called a hawk policy, and that prioritizes controlling inflation with slower economic growth, and that's kind of what we're doing now. The United States has generally taken a hawk policy to its economics for a very long time, simply because of the fact it's more liberal to be that way, and I don't fully into that. Anyway, so sorry about rambling there about economics for a while, but we got a lot to cover when it comes to the Epstein. Now, we are getting information, and this is reports just a little while ago, that House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries, which was going to be Obama 2.0, solicited donations from Jeffrey Epstein and asked Jeffrey Epstein to meet with Obama. Who is this fucking guy? Why is Jeffrey Epstein in everybody's cup of tea? What is this fucking dude? I mean, is everybody a child fucker? I mean, what is going on here? So, why is Epstein so in everything? And if that's why, where are the other people? Is this the only chomo handler? Yeah, it's like Caligula. What the fuck? So a firm representing House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat of New York, solicited Jeffrey Epstein for donations and to get him to attend a dinner with Obama. Newly released files revealed. See, Democrats, Republicans, Trump plays the same game you're doing. Look at that. Have a look at that. How about that? Was that baseball player commentator? Thousands of pages of documents from Epstein's estate published by the House Oversight Committee last week include a 2013 email from Representative Jeffries asking Epstein to meet with and give money to then Democrat leader. Oh. House Oversight Chair James Conner, representative of Kentucky, exposed the email on the House floor during consideration of the Epstein File Transparency Act, which passed 427 to 1 today. The New York City-based firm Dynamic SRG sent Epstein an email referring to Jeffries, who had entered congressional office just a few months prior as the Brooklyn Obama. Okay, so he was a new, so he probably didn't know what was up with Epstein. So I'm going to give Hakeem Jeffries that particular benefit of the doubt, even though I shouldn't. Hakeem is committed to electing a Democrat majority in 2014 and has encouraged his friends to participate in the DCCC and DSCC, Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee and Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee, fundraising dinner with Obama this coming Monday night. End quote was the email. Rossi went on to encourage Epstein to call or email her if he would like to, quote, get involved with a dinner or get an opportunity to get to know Hakeem better. Another email shows fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win majority. Conner said, this was from representative of Kentucky, so this is news from him, not me. Conner said, quote, so Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch. At this time of May 2013 email, Epstein had been out of prison for a few years after serving 13 months for child prostitution. Wonderful results. So both Democrats and Republicans were soliciting money from a guy that had been in jail for prostituting children. Wonderful results. You should all be fucking shot. Jesus fucking Christ. You stupid motherfuckers. You knew and you did it anyway. What's up, Scott? The oversight chair went on to emphasize that former President Bill Clinton, quote, must appear for a deposition. On the floor, Conner misspoke, according to this, and said former President Trump, but he prepared remarks state Clinton. So this goes back a long time. This is like 2013. The Oversight Committee subpoenaed him. The Democrats have done nothing to help secure the appearance. He added the Oversight Committee will continue to work with the truth, blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump, and then, of course, the story tries to jack off Donald Trump. Okay, so trying to make him, because it's from a right-wing mouthpiece. House praises Epstein files. As I said, it passed 427 to 1. The Freedom Caucus calls for removing Democrat Stacey Plaskett from Intel Committee for connections with Epstein. Of course, as you know, she was caught texting with him. At least that's what they're alluding to. The House holds dinner with Saudi Arabian Crown Prince. He was asked, oh yeah, by the way, Donald Trump is hosting the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. He was asked about the death of a journalist, to which Donald Trump says, don't be rude to our guest. Oh, that looks rough. What's up, America? Qatari Minister of State deal between Congo and M23 paves way for African peace. I don't know about all that. Migrant activists attacking ICE with CBP officers with autos. We've seen that. And Trump migration enforcement cuts crowding in America's K through 12 schools. Yeah, see, as it should. Because we're paying for a lot of people that shouldn't belong here, just in general. U.S. home prices falling across all markets. The housing market is worried, honey. They're worried. House prices are coming down. Oh no, what are we going to do? We better fuck ourselves. If house prices come down, don't forget to share, by the way. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, SC. It's a fucked up thing. Because he's like, don't embarrass our guest. I'm like the dude that murdered the guy. Holy fucking shit. But we got a long way to go here. Yeah. So breaking news, Melania's subtle gesture to Saudi prince as she stuns in strapless green gown after Trump's extraordinary Oval Office defense of him murdering the journalist. First Lady Melania Trump stunned in a strapless dress to match Saudi Arabia's flag as she joined Donald Trump in hosting Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for an ornate dinner in the East Room. And if Democrats break down if Democrats tear down the ballroom, you're a fucking stupid idiot. The United States needs a fucking ballroom. What is it? Guidelines for, it's not misinformation, stupid. I'm reading it off of a goddamn news site. I mean, are you stupid or something? I'm reading it off of the London Daily Mail. So I'm literally reading a news story. Here, are you stupid or what? Here, so that you're fucking not a dumb fuck. I'm so sick of you TikTok dumbasses because you don't like what I'm saying. Fuck you, you cunts. So here we go. You lying motherfuckers. You're the lying harassment, and this is why I'm filing a fucking protective order against you fucking dipshits. Because you're fucking liars. So here, I'm going to show you and stop harassing me, TikTok. I'm so sick of it. All you do is harass people. So here, I'll go back to it. Here's the fucking goddamn story I'm reading, you stupid bitch. It's not misinformation, you fucking idiot. I'm reading the goddamn news, you stupid piece of shit. I mean, is your dick that little, or what the fuck is wrong with you? So there's the news story. Do I have to whip my dick out too, or what are we doing here? That's misinformation. It's actually not. It's exactly here. We'll go read the story that I was looking at, and you can get your dick out of a twist, you fucking dipshit. Here you go. Here's the news story, you stupid motherfucker. There. There's the news story, you stupid piece of shit. You want to read it or what? Or you want to sit there and say it's fake again, that I'm just making it up? I mean, are we this fucking deranged at this point? Are we this deranged? Do you have that much wrong with you? I mean, are you stupid? Do you have brain damage? Are you mentally ill? What's wrong with you? Are you a drug addict? If it's who I think it is, I know you're a drug addict. Which is why you don't fucking win anything. You're a piece of shit. So here's the news story. Report House Democrat leader Jeffries solicited donations from Jeffrey Epstein. So here's the story. Here's exactly what I read verbatim. You can pause and read. Here's this. Here's the link to the fucking article. Let's check it out. Here's Representative James Comer that said it. So let's go to X. And we'll look it up so stupid people don't have... Oh, look at that. Holy crap, there it is. Hey. And let's hear what he has to say since TikTok is too stupid to figure it out on their own. So let's see what our House leader says and not me. You stupid motherfuckers, you.
Colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch.
I didn't say it.
Underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that, I yield back.
No, it's worth it because these people need to be put behind bars. The people that are doing this to me, the gang stalkers, they're breaking 18 U.S. Code 241. They can be executed for treason for what they're doing. Look it up. Look up 18 U.S. Code 241. The people that have been attacking me can be executed for treason. Yes, that's real.
With Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch. The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people.
They just sit there like fucking
justice for the victims.
I want to say a bunch of slurs, and I should.
That, I yield back.
But I don't care because I have a gun and I have rounds ready for them, and I have for a while. And so as soon as I see them, because I know who they are, as soon as I see them in public, I'm taking kneecaps out. I'm not kidding you. You might think, oh, well, I'm a fucking psycho, okay? Don't forget to shart the stream so people can be like, oh, well, you know, it's just all fun and games. I have rounds ready, okay? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you can think it's all fun and games. I hope I never see you in public because if I do, I don't give a fuck about jail, all right? I'm absolutely serious. Absolutely serious. I am so built up, I'll take 5 years for permanently disabling you.
Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing, and at one point he tells her, good job.
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability. Thanks.
Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing, and at one point he tells her, good job.
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability.
But they will, though. So, you see, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not stupid. I have the sources. I just don't sit there and show everything all the time because I'm not a fucking idiot and sit there, well, what are your sources on this? It's like, well, I have them, but do we have to be that fucking horrible about everything? Do we have to be that fucking petty on every goddamn aspect about every fucking thing, no matter what it is or how stupid? Can't you just take, oh God, that's not good. Can you just take it that maybe, for instance, that I'm telling what I know? You know what I'm saying? Well, no, you have to have this, and it has to be peer reviewed, and it doesn't. Shut the fuck up. It doesn't. All right? Your burden of proof that you put on people is to the point where it's an impossibility to fucking, because nobody's ever happy. It's never enough. I know what the bottom line is, and I know why it's done. Occam's razor still exists, if you guys know what that is. Hold on just a second. Hi, stuff. Okay, so Occam's razor still exists. The funny thing is, God damn it. I swear to fucking God. All right. Well, anyway, the one thing I've learned, though, being on social media for this long, because I've been off and on YouTube for about 15 years, right? And then so I've been off and on YouTube for about 15 years, give or take. And I've been on TikTok for several years. The one thing I can say for certain I've learned on social media is that whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you don't actually give a fuck about free speech at all. You do not care, and your only objective is to harm people. I don't know what else to tell you. Like right now, I'm being attacked by conservatives constantly. And all the conservatives that talk about free speech are the ones that are purposely trying to get me shut down. And the liberals that complain and say that they're, because I didn't like Millie Shushies. So 200 of her stands have been trying to get me taken down. So conservatives don't give a fuck about free speech. Neither do fucking liberals. You're all fucking full of shit. You don't like speech that you don't like. And so what you meant to say was, conservatives and liberals, is I give a fuck about free speech as long as it's speech I like. Other than that, I want it shut down. And that's what liberals have been doing to me for years. And they've been doing it to people like older millennial and shit like that. And then when I have a problem with them, they want me shut down. So that's why I say they're no different than liberals. They can talk a game all day, constantly about, they can talk again all day, constantly about, how they are valuing free speech and all this other shit. But if you send a bunch of people to attack somebody else, you don't care about free speech. A, you're a psycho. And B, you want people to take someone down because you want to destroy their speech. That's right, shit. That's right. And so when I look at people that claim to be conservatives on here, and then I see them, I'm a conservative, I believe in free speech. Now I want you to go destroy him. You're not a conservative. You're a garbage dump of a piece of shit. And you're proving my exact point for not liking you in the first place. Because I knew how you were and I saw through you initially by the reposts of you making fun of poor people and dancing that food stamps are being taken away, which is on one of your accounts, by the way. I've seen all this. So you talk out of this side of your mouth and then you do the exact opposite. I'm all for free speech, but go destroy this person. And it's like, you're just proving yourself no better than a liberal. That's what it is. And so what they did to Charlie Kirk when they shot him, you do that exact same thing, only in the digital world. And then you pretend that you're for free speech when you're actually not. And you never have been. Thank you, Sun Symbol. And you never have been, you never will be. And until you grow up and act like a fucking adult instead of a child and say, like, because people talk shit to me all the time. I don't give a fuck. I just ignore it. Totally ignore it. I don't see it when people make videos. I don't respond to it. If I just don't see it, and I do it on purpose because I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. I don't care what it is because I don't give a fuck. So you know what he said about you? Don't give a fuck. And if I say, okay, I'll see and just block it. Why do you block it? Why don't you fucking acknowledge it? Because I'm 43 years old. Why would I acknowledge any of that shit? Right? Why would I give a fuck about what anybody says at 43 years old? What do you got to do? You got to embarrass me? You got to throw me under the bus? You got to do this, that, and the other? Dude, I fought monsters in Hollywood worse than you for years. And I know how to win the fucking hard way. All right? I know how to win the hard way. You don't want to fuck with bad shit. Right? You say, well, no, I'll do this, that, or the other. Yeah, trust me. Thank you, my friend. I have shit you don't know about. Right? Like, I I have YouTube play buttons. I've done this. This isn't my first rodeo with people that didn't like me. Oh, what a shame. They don't like me. Who fucking cares? But have I been wrong? Not very often. And when I call these people out and they fucking pretend that they're the victims, I'm telling you, I am right about them. You just haven't seen it yet. I saw it. You haven't seen it yet. Thank you, Cindy. And it will take some act of God or collective whatever to see them, or they'll fucking leave a live stream on where they say racial slurs or whatever the fuck it is. But I've seen the behavior. You haven't yet. So I know what I'm talking about. And they can sit there and, thank you, Harley. Well, I'm this. I'm an advocate, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, thou dost protest too much. You know what I'm saying? And so when I said one sentence about a certain creator I didn't like, and across 2 channels they put up 7 videos, thou doth protest too much, why doesn't anybody think about this? Why does everybody take everything everybody says as a surface level? I don't understand. Anyway, that's just all it is. And I don't understand what happened to people. Does nobody have any, like, when somebody comes out there and they are just too nice and they're too fucking good and doesn't that raise any red flags for you like it does me? You know what I'm saying? Like, big time. When I see somebody out there and they're saying all the right things only and there's no controversy and they're always right. They're sitting there debating somebody. And I watch these people all the time, different streamers, and you'll see a streamer or a live stream or whatever, and he's debating somebody, but the host is 100% right all the time. 100% right. The host is never wrong. Why isn't that a red flag for you? Knowing that humans fuck up all the time, consistently, why is it not a red flag for you to see somebody and the host is 100% right? The host is never 100% right. Nobody on earth. Fucking Stephen Hawking is not 100% right. Fucking the only people that are 100% right were God. Right? Dude, him, yeah. He's a veteran, so I don't talk shit about him. That's my stance on the older millennial. He's a veteran, so I don't talk shit about him. That's my stance on the older millennial. So I don't care what he does. If he can, whatever, I'm still not... Oh, you're getting that, the squeaky one. Well, my wife's always right, Chris. That's different. But I never go against a veteran unless they're a piece of shit. And if he wants to drink 13 drinks and fall asleep on a live stream, what am I going to do? Don't do that? All as I tried to do was make nice between him and White Rabbit, and they both, well, he was okay. He started to, you're just two-faced. I'm like, no, I'm trying to make you assholes nice to each other. Well, in a comment, you said you were going to unfollow me, and I did. Two-faced would be if I followed you and would, no, I still unfollowed you, so don't know what to tell you there. It wasn't two-faced to, yeah, it was not two-faced to make a comment on my friend's page saying, I should unfollow this guy. Then I reached out and said, stop fighting with each other. Well, you're just two-faced. Well, no, I unfollowed you right after that. So, no. Like, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. And I've still blocked you. So, don't know what we're doing here. Hold on, let me end the stream on YouTube real quick. So if you're on YouTube, follow me here. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, hit the notification button, and we'll be back with a better stream on YouTube.